I've spent $32,000 on mentors over the past year or so since I've started my agency. And in this video, I pretty much want to break down basically, was it worth it? What were the things I like? What were things I didn't like? And actually, what are my recommendations for you? Because I will be honest, there are a lot of options out there, right? So I just want to be totally transparent with what I've invested in, what's helped for me, what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. So you can basically skip all the trial and error. And hopefully, after watching this, you know exactly what to look for, how to actually find a mentor that suits you specifically, because that's something not many people talk about. So getting right into it as well, I have some notes written down. So if I'm looking over, that's what I have. The first thing I want to do is just reframe the way and your mindset around mentors. Now, the reason I do this is because I had the mindset when I started my agency a year ago that I can go and do everything myself. And I did do everything myself for the first 3, 4, 5 months. And I would say I didn't get anywhere near where I wanted to. I made decent progress, but a big part of it for me was I was honestly like too ignorant to say that I need someone else's help or someone else can actually help me. Like I want to be the type of guy, especially as a man, oh, I can go do everything myself. Right? That's just like how we're wired, at least how most people are. So the biggest shift for me was initially investing in my first mentorship, which I'm going to walk you through each of the ones I've invested in. I'm not going to say names and stuff of them, but I'm going to kind of give you like a high level overview. So this, what made me realize that, okay, maybe I should invest in a mentorship was was working on my agency 4 or 5 months just by myself, obviously, like I just mentioned. And I got up to, I don't know, I documented it on this channel, but I have to go back and look, but it was probably 2 or 3K a month, right? So not horrible for my first couple months, but also not as fast as I want to move. And then when I started thinking of, I see people talking about mentorship, start watching people on YouTube, and I started thinking of like, okay, this guy has done exactly what I'm trying to do. What if I just have him teach me and give me all the systems that he's used? And that's when I started kind of jogging in my mind of, okay, maybe this is something I actually should look into. Maybe there is some value, some merit in this. Now, the thing that I think that separated me and separates me from a lot of you guys watching and a lot of people out there, and I'm by no means like where I want to be. I definitely want to be doing 6-figure months within the next 6 to 12 months max. But I think what separates me and a lot of these high level entrepreneurs is how quick you make decisions. So when I initially decided to invest in my first mentor, I didn't go look for 5 weeks, for 2 months, interviewing a bunch of people, watching a bunch of YouTube content. I probably took, I think, 3 sales calls and I pulled the plug right away, like within 4 days. So immediately my cycle was, okay, I think I need a mentor. Went and took 3 calls, boom, sign a mentor within 3 or 4 days, the span of 3 or 4 days. And something that I really like is there's a way to position it is you have 2 types of decisions. Type 1, type 2. I learned this from Cameron England, right? Type 1, I believe he says, is type 1 is decisions that you can actually go that you can't go back on. So something like a business partner, right? That's a big decision. Now, a type 2 decision is something that you can immediately, like, it's not going to change your life. Something like starting to run paid ads, investing in yourself, investing in a mentor. That's something that's not going to have a changing impact on the entire way that your life moves from this point on. Yeah, it's going to cost you money, but you can get money back. Anyone can get money. So that's the immediate thing that helped me, was kind of having that mindset of, okay, like it's really not as big of a decision as people say it is, right? It's another investment in my business. And I notice the people who make those investments, who can make them with a shorter period of time, by the time they think they need to do it and they go and do it, are always going to be the most successful people. So that's the first thing of just kind of reframing, I think, what separates a lot of people. Now, in terms of how I position mentorships, I think, and I say this sometimes, it's like the only time glitch there is. Now, what I mean by that, probably like, what is this guy yapping about? But when you think about it, this person's been exactly where you want to be, and you can go and just have them give you the entire roadmap of the mistakes they wish they could have avoided, and also the things that worked for them, where then you just go and actually implement it. You just copy exactly what they did. So that's like the first thing was, I was like, okay, it really is like a time glitch. You just pay someone who's already been there, done that. Because you either pay with time or money at the end of the day. And for me personally, I realized time is the most valuable asset. Even when you are broke, when I was making $1,000 a month, I still valued my time higher than anything else. And that's what made me initially pull the plug. I will also say I want to reframe a lot of the stuff that I thought I would initially get from a mentor was like the tangible stuff, was systems, tracking sheets, SMS script, cold call script, how to train a team, stuff like that. While you do get a ton of that, I'm going to tell you right now, hands down, the most value, the thing that's worth the most that you get from a mentor is just the clarity. Now, I'm going to repeat that. The thing you get the most from a mentor, you're not paying for systems, you're paying for clarity. That's the most important part. Because what stops so many people from moving forward and from progressing is a lack of clarity. And you're probably feeling that if you're watching this right now, which is why you're watching these YouTube videos. You're like, should I invest in a mentor? You're like, should I do this niche? Should I pick this niche? Should I spend this much on ads? Should I do SMS? And you're thinking about all these decisions, and it's just eating up at your time. Whereas if you have someone where you just shoot them a message, be like, hey, I'm thinking of this or this, what should I do? They say, oh, go do this. And then immediately you have the clarity. You stop you forget that other option even existed, and you go all in on this one option. And for me, that's what what I learned from my first mentorship was, even though it was a group coaching, I'm not going to go over like pricing and numbers and stuff. I'll tell you, it was definitely in the high four figures. But just the amount of clarity. So the amount of systems and stuff in there is amazing, but the amount of clarity you get is what really was the unlock for me. After that, I'm like, okay, this is how you scale quick. Is you just go pay someone and then you just copy what they do. And that's exactly what I did. And I think 1 or 2 months after I invested, I hit 7K, and then I hit my first 10K a month. I think 2 or 3 months later. So it was a relatively quick. I don't think that's a coincidence, but that was my experience. But ever from that moment, I realized, okay, I'm always going to invest in myself no matter what. Now, from there, my second mentor I invested in, this was all one-on-one. So I kind of realized, okay, I like the group coaching side, but I want to try out one-on-one, see how that is. Obviously, it's usually more expensive as well. And again, four-figure all four-figure investments, right? If you find a good mentor. So basically from this one, it was the same thing. And I realized like all the information is going to be similar across most of these people that you invest in, right? All the information's out there. You have access to YouTube, ChatGPT. You're not paying for information. You're paying for clarity and just like wisdom, which it's like the intangible stuff that you're actually getting, not the tangible systems and scripts that you actually think you need, that you want. They sell you what you want, but they give you what you need. And that's that's what a good mentor does, at least, right? If your mentor doesn't do that, then probably haven't found the right person. But that's what I've got the most value in, is just the clarity again. And then my third mentor, same exact thing. I've been increasingly investing more and more in myself because I realized that that's the quickest time glitch to go and really change your life, is by having someone who's already been where you want and just have them show you the ropes, show you how to do it. So that's kind of just like reframing your mind on mentors. Now, that's all good now. Now you kind of understand like what a mentor is, like why it's actually important. At least from my perspective, right? Like I invested in one 3 or 4 days ago. Not a small amount of money either. Really, really happy with the investment so far. We'll say that. Probably already got my ROI worth. But I'm going to go over now how to choose the right mentor, right? That's probably what you're wondering. So the first thing I'm going to say is identify what is your bottleneck right now. What is your weakness? So my first mentor, my weakness then was service delivery. I couldn't deliver my clients' results. I remember my first couple clients, I was running Facebook ads for them, got them absolutely terrible results. I think my first client, a real estate agent over in Minnesota, and I forgot to set up location targeting. So we were targeting the whole US. And I was actually on vacation at the time with my family. And he texted me, he's like, dude, we just got a lead in Virginia. We just got one in Washington. I'm like, oh my gosh. And my heart just sank. Immediately ran back. I was like, all right, my service delivery is cooked. Obviously, I didn't retain that client, if you're wondering. But that was just the first one. I got better after that. My first mentor was because my weakness I felt was service delivery. So I invested in someone who seems like they had a really good service delivery system. And then I kind of got that pillar dialed in from that. After that, I realized my next bottleneck was acquisition. So my next mentor, I had a really big focus on, okay, I need to find someone who's going to help me dial in acquisition. After that, it's like system scaling team, which leads me to my current one, right? But it's about finding your weaknesses, thinking about what do you need the most help with right now? What's going to be the biggest needle mover for you? And maybe you don't know specifically what it is. And that kind of leads into the next point of like choosing the right person. The most important thing, I've been happy with every single mentor, every single program I've invested in, because I just have a gut feeling I only buy from people I actually like. There's two types of people, and this is just again my perspective. So take this how you want, but you have the people who show their lifestyle, Dubai, Miami, high rises, renting Lamborghinis and stuff. And they're showing that on YouTube because it's good marketing. It's frankly really good marketing. And that's going to bring in one crowd of people, the people who chase the lifestyle, chase the numbers. And then you have the people who are more like me, like you see my channel. And I'm not saying I'm like in this group, right? I'm focusing right now pretty much all on my agency. But you basically have two types of people, and then you have the people who are just raw, just giving information away. And if you watch my stuff, you know that that's how I am. And that's, if you had to guess, that's all the mentors I invest in. I've not invested in a single person who shows the Dubai, the Miami, the Rolex lifestyle. That just doesn't mesh with me. Right? I'm not going to say anything bad about those because I've never invested in them. I've gotten on sales calls with them, and not going to go too much into that. But all my mentors, it's like people that I connect with that are just not flashy, not showing lifestyle. They're just genuinely dropping sauce, dropping gems. And you can see like that's how I kind of reflect as well. People buy from people they like. So that's kind of obvious, but just buy from someone, or not even, you don't even have to buy, but like look into people. I'm sure you watch people that you already trust that are like you. So those are the people you want in your circle. You want someone who you resonate with. You don't want to go pay for someone just because they're showing some lifestyle and you think that it's a cheat code or something. Unless that's what you want, then I would say go ahead with those people. But it's about finding like really what you want. Once you do that, like map out your criteria. Like what do you need? Are you looking for more one-on-one group coaching? Because obviously one-on-one is going to be the most expensive, right? But like what do you need at this stage? I'll tell you, like obviously one-on-one, that you're going to get the most clarity you ever have. But I've also been in groups that are absolutely amazing. So they both have their pros and cons. But like think about what's going to benefit you the most at your specific stage. And once you kind of combine all of those together, that's your formula for finding a mentor. So right, again, finding your weakness, finding people you actually mesh with, who fit in your vibe, who you would actually be friends with. And then third, like what do you actually need? One-on-one group coaching, what is it? And that's going to narrow it down a ton. You can find someone pretty quick. And then again, once you know you need a mentor, stop looking around, stop taking a bunch of calls. Just go take a couple calls, take one or two calls, take one call, and then go with the person. Right? Don't make it a huge drawn out decision. The more time you waste, it defeats the purpose. The whole purpose is saving time and speeding it up. And again, if you're fine with taking a year trying to do it yourself, I would say just go and do that. But a mentor is really for speeding up the process, almost like a time glitch, like I said earlier. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is actually, now that you're working with a mentor, how do you actually make the most out of it? And I'll tell you what I've seen from being in these mentorships, spending over $30,000 on them. I've seen all types of people. You have the people who absolutely crush it, who you see case studies about all the time. And then you have people who you never hear about because they frankly just didn't get an invest ROI. They didn't do anything in there. And that kind of leads to the final point of you need to actually make the most out of it. With a mentor, it's not like they're doing like a full done for you service, which is what a lot of people think, is they think they're going to give you some sort of done for you service, almost like an agency. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to actually put in the work. To make the most out of it, you have to put in the work, you have to interact, you have to ask questions. And I've seen the people who ask the most questions, show up the most, from my experience, work the hardest, put in the work, ask the most questions, are going to be the ones who succeed. Literally no matter what. Because again, you have the full roadmap, but if you have your foot on the brake the whole time, it's not going to go anywhere. You need to be having your foot on the gas the whole time and taking advantage of all the feedback. But that's what I'm going to leave you with, is you actually need to put in the work. It's not going to be, if you're a type of person who's like, you're just like, yeah, it's fine if it works out. I'll try it for a bit, see how it goes. Like, no, you need to be all in on this. And that's the mindset you should have. Why invest in yourself if you're not willing to commit to yourself? Right? So that's the final part, is like you actually need to put in the work. There's no golden ticket to it. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. That's why the success rate is so low for so many people, is because people just don't put in the work. At the end of the day, that's what you need to do. And I'm also going to end by saying as well, like you don't, I'm not saying you need a mentor. Some people maybe haven't even had mentors. All I'll tell you though is every single person I've spoken with who's doing these really big numbers are people who not a single one hasn't had a mentor. That's all I'm going to say. Now, there probably definitely are people who haven't, but it usually is going to take you a lot longer. So that's basically, I just want to make this quick video because I know it's something that's helped me a ton. And hopefully some of you guys can get value and helping you find your next mentor if that feels like the next logical step. And if this sounds like something you would be interested in, then definitely go and reach out and try to find a mentor. I'm telling you, it's going to be, if you can commit yourself to putting in the work, you're not going to be disappointed with the investment. And I guess one other thing as well, I know there's so many like these like courses, especially these big gurus. I'll tell you, I've never invested in one of these big gurus courses. I'm not going to name names, but I've never done those just because, again, that's not my thing. I would rather have a more personalized, more like chill, authentic, laid back one rather than these like crazy big coaching programs. I'll tell you, I haven't invested in those, so I'm not talking about like those ones. You know names, right? I'm not gonna mention them, but that's a caveat. I'm not talking about those ones. I haven't done those personally, but that's all I'm going to leave you with. I hope this was kind of a different video, somewhat valuable for you. Hopefully you got some key takeaways from it. Basically, if you do want to follow along, I'm documenting my journey scaling to 100K months, helping other guys do the same as well. If you have questions, want to connect with me, just hit me up on Instagram at noah.haupt. It's in the description below. Other than that, I really hope you got value. If you want to check out some other videos from me, go check out the one on the screen right now, and I'll see you there. Peace.